Good morning, everybody. It's Kim here. Sorry, I was supposed to be on live last night, but by the time I got back from drying clothes and things, I had a really bad headache, so I ended up falling asleep. So I apologize for that. Turn this down. So I wanted to come on today. I know many of you weren't aware that I'm coming live this morning, and I apologize for that. But as you know, the video will remain here for you to watch at your leisure. But I wanted to come on today and show you a few flowers. I know we've done doodles, a little bit of doodling in the past. I just felt like maybe we could do that again today. I'm just trying to grab my marker. I'm just going to use my Tombow. I'm not going to use this part of it. I'm going to use just the regular felt tip part of it. So feel free to use, any marker, pen, or pencil to practice this. But I wanted to show you a few of the flowers like I had posted the other night. One fun one is a zinnia. So I'm going to try to keep my hand out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing when I do it. With a zinnia, what I like to do is just start with a small circle in the middle. And then much like, if you look here, like scales from a fish or mermaid scales, it's kind of think of U's and like say 3. And then in between there would be overlap. So when you think of flower petals, they're kind of overlapping, where the last one, where the two ends of the U go up. So like right here would be the next overlap that I would make. Now I show you that because I come up here to the flower, the zinnia, and I like to do 3. So I'll do like an upside down U, and I'll just place 3 of them around that circle. And it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the fun of doodles. So my next set, and like this, but we're working almost in opposite. So what I like to do then is come here where both of those U's meet here and put another petal. Then I'll come here and I'll place another petal. And I'll place another petal here. And this is where things kind of get fun. I mean, you could do then one petal here, a petal here, another petal here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you're placing petals where that V shape is formed between the other petals. And as you go out, they can get larger. So there's no perfection about this. It's just kind of meeting at and just drawing petal shapes. And you can make this as large as you want. You can make your outer petals span the space of a few of the inners. So just working like that and creating petals. And like I said, guys, you do not have to be perfect with this. Flowers are not perfectly round, but you get the drift. And if you keep them all very, very small, it'll give you that intricate look of a very teeny tiny little flower. And then you could go in and maybe color in the center of that. So that's what I like to think of as like a zinnia. Chrysanthemums are kind of the same way if you study flowers and the way their petals are formed. This one I like to consider a zinnia. Now for leaves, you can do basic, almost like short U shape or V shape, U shapes with points at the end and make leaves that way. You can do kind of like an S and just mimic that on both sides. You can go ahead and put that center piece in the flower or in the leaf. You can come in here and do veining with your marker. you can always color these in, or if you're painting, you can do paint with these as well. Then another flower, working on that same building of petals, I'll just come over here, is like a sunflower. So I'm gonna do somewhat of a round shape in the middle. And then this is the shape that I'm going to make when I do the sunflower. Let me see where the best place is for me to do this. Instead of doing a rounded petal, we're going to come up with that petal to a point and then come back wide. You can come all the way up and come in and keep them like you would a leaf. I'll show you that way. So you're just gonna come in and kind of have them meet again. And you're just gonna work your way all around this. It reminds me almost also of the sun, which is why the sunflower gets its name. I'm almost making like rounded diamond shapes, and they don't have to be perfect. So have fun with this. So that's my first layer of sunflower petals. My second layer, I'm gonna come in here behind that and just mimic that shape in between each of those petals, just like we had done over here, but instead of rounded, we're making them more pointed. Then for a sunflower, I like to leave a little bit in the middle of like a shade and then color that in. Color that middle in. You could do, if you're gonna do yellow, you can do yellow and brown. And then I also like to just come in here and add little dots that come out towards the petal, just to give it the look of a sunflower. My big hand was in your way there. I hope you could see that. So I'm just adding little, like stippling. I'm adding little dots. Then for a sunflower, they have a pretty long stem. Then you can just come over here and give them a nice big leaf. Put your veining in, and maybe just add a few of these little vein pieces there, and then that would be that. So there you have your sunflower. Just gonna flip around here. What else flower? What other flower did I show you the other day? I know I showed you a simple rose. For that simple rose bud, I just basically did a curly Q like this. And then just an elongated U shape that's more bubbled at the bottom. And then I come like this and put a cross piece. Then you could put your flower stem. Now for roses, they have those long kind of petals. You can come up across and into your flower. Where the bud opens, these leaves are there. So you can just kind of color them. What other flower did we do? Let me peek here onto my iPad. Oh, a poppy. The poppy is one of the most simple, one of my favorites. Great for doing lettered work with your markers, even with paint. So a poppy, I just do like a circle shape, and I keep going around it a few times, and I don't want it to look perfect. Then somewhere in the center, could be off-centered, I draw a little black circle and just color that in. And that's a simple little poppy. Or even just to look like a rose. A ranunculus is a nice flower that kind of has those tight petals around it. So that could look like a ranunculus. So they're just a few quick little doodle flowers that you can play with when you're doing your lettering. So I'm going to move this to the side, and then I want to show you something that you can do with your lettering, which is also fun. I'm finding it is a lot of fun. You can buy acrylic sheets. They come in all different sizes. I'm just going to lay it here. This is an acrylic sheet. This is an 8x10, and they come in this plastic. This is the Optics brand. I pick it up at my local Lowe's or Home Depot. And I'm just going to pull this, just stays on with static. Pull this back for you to see. And then what I did on the back, there's also a piece on the back. What I did on the back was just painted it with my acrylic paint. I also like to take ink and do that, and ink like pretty designs on the back. But you can take these acrylic sheets and you can do your lettering on those. Say you know someone who's getting married, or you know you just want to do something pretty like a little event sign, or even just something to place in your home. So you do this on these acrylic sheets, and what I use for them are important if you're going to do acrylic or glass, is if you want it to be permanent, you want to use oil-based paint markers. So Sharpie puts out oil-based. It's very important that if you want to do this and have it stay, you use oil-based. So there are a few good brands. I mean, Sharpie's good. You can get Sharpie just about anywhere. They come in all your colors, white, black. You can even get like gold. But it is very important to make sure you're getting the oil-based markers if you want it to last. You shake them up, and they're the kind that you have to kind of pounce on your paper to get the ink flowing before you use them. So Sharpie's pretty good. They're pretty much available at most of your craft stores, and even some Staples and things like that. Another brand that you get, and I get on Amazon, I'll share a link with you when I am finished with this video. I really like the way Pen Touch works. Pen Touch, this is a medium point. They're by Sakura, S-A-K-U-R-A, Pen Touch. They're oil-based paint markers, and they come in different colors and different tip sizes. The little tiny fine ones give you exactly what you would think. Like this is a thicker, the 2mm marker size, and then say for this one here, it's a lot thinner. I use the fine tip marker to do these. So I'm going to push this to the side, and this right here, just in case you're wondering, I'm trying to find all my markers. They like to hide on me, especially when I go live. There they are, excuse me for reaching. Gold, and I absolutely am in love with copper. Copper right now. A lot of people like rose gold. Copper is very similar to rose gold. I'm absolutely in love with copper. So anyway, like I said, when I'm finished and they're nice and dry, I like to just take the plastic sheeting and put it back on there, because it just keeps the acrylic from getting scratched or dirty, too many fingerprints, things like that. So I'll set this to the side. And as I said, here's another one. This has the backing still on the back, which is why it doesn't look like it's clear, but I'll pull that off so you can take a look here. I've done this one as well with the copper markers. And these can be set either in frames, they can be set on little picture holders, they can be set on little easels at events, or just as decoration. So I thought these were fun, and since, you know, I want to show you not only how to letter, but certain things that you can do with your lettering skills, I wanted to touch on the acrylic and the glass to make sure you're all set and know what you would need to move on. Now, acrylic sheeting can get pretty expensive, especially if you're just practicing. So that's when I hit my favorite place in the world, the Dollar Tree, and I pick up some photo frames in there because I like to practice on the glass. So then I'll just take this apart, set it off to the side, and please be careful if you do this because you know glass will cut you. So I'm just going to pull this out of the frame and set it on my paper so that you can get a good look at it off of this table. A little tip for this, and I just can't seem to find my roll right now because we're on live. I like to take masking tape, or I like to take, I think it's easier to remove, oh, here it is, the washi tape. I like to take washi tape. Sky, you stop barking. And I'll just stick that and cover my ends. Fold it over. Because this is going to come off. This is just so when I'm working with it and moving it around, I'm not cutting my fingers on the glass. God forbid. It's not worth getting hurt over. But yeah, so I would typically go over all four corners of that with my washi tape, just so that I'm not cutting myself. Now, maybe you want to do something and you want to have it removable. Say you want to do, let me see if I can find a different color, since I have a white base back there. So these are Bistro. These are, I think I got these at Walmart. You can get chalk pencils or chalk markers, which are just like regular markers, just like paint markers. You shape them, you pounce them to get the ink rolling, and then you go on your merry way. But the good thing about these is they are erasable because they are used on chalkboards. So now these I haven't used in a while, so I'm hoping that they're not all dried up on me. And give it a good shake to get that paint. Seeing a glare there. This is not cracked, but I see a glare. I don't know if there's a piece of hair there. I don't know what that is. But anyway, so I have these, and I'm just going to pounce it to get my ink or my chalk ink moving along. So one good thing and one fun thing by working on glass or acrylic is that it's see-through, guys. So if I don't feel comfortable drawing, say this sunflower, I can lift up my glass. I can place a template below it and put that sunflower kind of where I want it, or the zinnia or whatever flower. So let me see if I can get my yellow one going. So I'm just going to make sure my ink's working on that one. So if I do this and say I want to make just a nice little something for a friend or to stick in your kitchen, or you want to do something for an event, but you know afterwards you're not going to need it, perhaps you want to just do it with the chalk because it's erasable. So you can just come on in here, trace over your flower. You could do this all in, say, the black, if you like that black and white look. I'm only gonna, because they're not gonna see it if I just fill all this in, I'm just gonna come across it like that. And it dries fairly quickly. So when I hold it up, it's on there. It's fairly opaque as far as you being able to see through it. It's fairly opaque that you can't really see through it all that much. But then you could come over to the side. Once that's dry, it's not quite dry. It takes a little bit longer to dry on the glass. But then you could come over here and start doing your lettering. You can letter in the chalk. You're not going to get the traditional thick and thin lines just with pressing with these markers. So that's where that knowledge of the faux calligraphy comes in. You're going to come back in and thicken your downstrokes. And this is great for practice because, you know, for a buck and the cost of your markers, you can practice, because writing on glass is a lot different than writing on markers. It's very slippery. There's nothing there to grab the marker and keep your hand from just going. It does take a lot more practice to write on glass. I'm going to show you one thing I tend to do a lot, because I tend to be heavy-handed when I'm writing with a marker, is that I tend to push down hard, and when you push down with these types of pens, they tend to glop out like that. So that's one thing that you have to be mindful of and be careful, that when you're writing you don't get real heavy-handed with your markers and cause the blop. Now, because this is chalk, it's pretty easy to just wipe this off and start all over and be on your... Let's see if I can get this off quick. So what I mean, it pretty much, like a dry erase marker, it just pretty much comes right off. This is great for kids. This is great for yourself. Say you have like a weekly, you need a weekly to-do list. You could do something very, very pretty. And maybe with a bigger piece of glass it would work better, but there's nothing wrong with this size either. You could do this on acrylic as well. So here are the oil-based markers, and these do not wipe off. These do not wipe off. I mean, if you sit and scratch at them on the glass, you can probably scrape things off or take a little razor to clean up. But especially on the acrylic, they're going to stay. If you want something there that's going to stay, you want to use... Oh, my thing just came out of there. Hold on just a sec, guys. Get her back in there. See that right there? It's okay. This is why I like to use the glass from the Dollar Tree just to practice. You know, you want to get your marker started just like I have there. And I mean, typically you could take lined paper, place it under the glass. That way you're keeping your writing, you know, you're not going off wonky. But say you could do something like this. Let me see if I can just move this camera slightly here for you. Sorry for making it wobbly, guys. Just want to see if I can get it to a better place where you can see without my hand in the way. So as I was saying, maybe you want to make a to-do list for your kitchen. So just come in here. You can do this on paper beforehand and place it underneath, because you can see through it. So just be careful when you're doing your letters that you don't put your hand in the paint, because this does take longer to dry. Than just regular marker on paper. And this is not my best writing, but I just want to show how simple this is. And like I said, there is no slip. You just come back and you get those downstrokes. So like a to-do list. And then, you know, you could come in here and add in embellishments. Add in like this little, what you call it, to the sides of your letters. Because remember, I'm going to remove that glass, or that tape, I mean. So a little to-do list. I'm going to switch over to my thinner pen. I'm hoping that you can see what I'm doing. So like, say you could do to-do, and then go ahead and write in your Monday. And like I said, there is a lot of slip writing on glass. Then you just come in here and thicken up your downstrokes. So you could do Monday, Tuesday, and I'm a little shaky and I just push down on that pen. So I'm hoping that I don't get a big blop. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you get the drift. But these are the oil markers, so they're not going to come off as easily once they're dry. And my writing is really horrible here, guys. I apologize. But yeah, let that dry, and then you could put this back in the frame, and then say, all right, I know, say Monday, you want to make some quick notes. All right, Monday, we're gonna do lunch. Tuesday, we have a doctor at 8 a.m. You know, Wednesday, movies, movies with friends. You can come in here and do things like this. Or for your kids, you know, I know it's summer, but mine will be going back quicker because he's going to college. So, you know, this would be great. They could just jot, oh, I have a test on Friday, I need to write that down. So, I'm hoping my copper has dried. But then I can just come in here and I can erase what I've written in chalk, but what I've written in oil will stay. So it's just a reusable, fun way, you know, to make yourself or someone else a cute little gift, something different that you can do with your lettering. You know, you can come in, feel free to come in and start getting creative. Come in here and draw little flowers. Draw like a little daisy. Here and there. You know, feel free to do your little doodles and they're not going to come off. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this today. I hope that you'll give this a try. $1. You can get these bistro markers at your local Walmart store or craft store. The Pentek oils, these are more Amazon that I get them. They don't carry them in my local stores. And then of course for $1 for glass, or like under $5 for the acrylic. And then you can have some fun with your lettering and make some cute little gifts and things to hang around your home. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back soon. We'll go over some more hand lettering fun. Enjoy your Saturday. Bye, guys.